Ebenezer Scrooge, awake! I am the ghost of the Mercedes-Benz winter event. Your time is running out. Come, I must show you the sleek CLA. Nice, said Scrooge. But I am kind of a Scrooge. No worries. The CLA offers true Mercedes performance at a surprising price. Or check out the GLC, an SUV with the full complement of technology and performance. Give your year the happy ending it deserves at the Mercedes-Benz winter event. Now at your Mercedes-Benz dealer. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
Hello.
Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, folks. It's Danny Tisdale, and you're on the Danny Tisdale Show. You know, I am so glad that you have joined us after I hope you had a fantastic Thanksgiving and that you've given thanks to being here on this planet with us one more cycle of Thanksgiving and being in Harlem and just being in general. Let me get a little drink of tea right here before I get started and talk about what's going on. I just want to, of course, give you some of the things that's what's new, and I'm just going to give you one because I'm really excited and want to get to this conversation that we have with one of our Harlem artists in the community. And don't forget to check out our panel discussion, No Shade. That's with E2 Evans, designer, and it's part of the African Diaspora Film Festival on Wednesday, November 28th, 2018, from 5 to 10 p.m. And I think, if my memory serves me correct, that the conversation with E2 is at 9:30. So check out the film, check out the conversation. Should be great, and that's going to be at Mist Harlem on 116th Street. And if anything happens that you want to ask us, or especially with this conversation that we're about to have, you can hit us on Twitter, Twitter is something new, at twitter.com/HWMag, also at facebook.com/Harlem World Magazine, and of course at our website at harlemworldmagazine.com. And just to, if I was double jointed, I'd pat myself on the back. And we also, of course, we've got another month and change to celebrate our 15th year anniversary this year, 2018. And thank you for supporting us, for all of you out there who have. And don't forget to like us and share us on your social as we talk about the best of Harlem with us, and as we are about to do now. And before I speak to one of the artists that are in the collective, we are here to talk about the arts, one of the things that we love, and specifically the Harlem Makers Collective. They're having an Artisan Christmas Sale 2018 in Harlem. The Harlem Makers Collective exhibit was organized by 3 Harlem creatives, and we'll talk about that more as we get started. The event's goal is to showcase some of the best local innovators and authentic contributors of Harlem. The Harlem Makers Collective aims to provide forward-thinking Harlem creatives with a platform to showcase their brands and generate a supportive community and share and grow their ideas. And today we have with us Heike Jarick. She is German-born, London-schooled, Milan-trained, and globally focused fashion designer living in Harlem. She worked with the fashion designer Yohji Yamamoto, who I love, a subsidiary collection in Japan. Jarick launched Heike in 2015, a contemporary ready-to-wear label based in New York City with a focus on luxury outerwear and knits. Sounds fantastic. She finds inspiration in contemporary art, music, and architecture, namely the Bauhaus theory of art with a focus on crafts and fine arts. She uses fabric from Italy and Japan, and much of her pieces are often multi-use, multi-purpose, highly versatile wear, focusing on construction and deconstruction. Woo, let me catch my breath, get some oxygen. And thank you, Heike, for being here. How are you?
Oh, it's my absolute pleasure to be here, and I'm doing really well. It's a beautiful Saturday, and I'm so thrilled to be with you today.
Thank you, Heike, and we're so glad that you are here with us. And before we get started, to kind of set it off, what is the the Harlem Makers Collective. Can you tell us a little bit about that and some of the members?
Yes, the Harlem Makers Collective is a group of, the organizers are basically a group of three talented designers. Karema Deodato is a very, very talented hat designer. Her hats are like sculptures, and she uses very traditional millinery techniques. And we have Maiko Suzuki. She's a Japanese-born jewelry designer. And by the way, Karema is from Brazil. And it's myself, Heike. You already gave an introduction. And we have done several events together in Harlem under a different umbrella. And we have found it very good to show our designs in Harlem to the Harlem community. We've made great connections, and we have decided to organize ourselves to put the collective together, and also the several other designers who we have shown with in the past who were interested in basically getting together and showing our talent to the Harlem community, and to organize ourselves a, well, I don't want to call it a market, but an event in which we will mingle, get together, show our talents, sell our goods, and basically make great connections with each other.
That's fantastic, and of course I love the idea of creating a collective of artists who, of course, especially are in Harlem, with Harlem having such a incredible, deep, rich arts community. It just makes complete sense, and that's at least one reason why I wanted you on the show to talk about the work that you're doing. So how long has the collective been around, or is it something new? And how can someone who's listening become a member, or there's not membership going on right now?
So basically the collective is made up of incredibly talented and diverse local makers, producers, and creatives. Anyone based in New York area can apply, but the preference is given to Harlem-based makers.
I see.
The Harlem Makers Collective Committee, which consists of us three, reviews all applicants carefully to create a well-balanced assortment for each event. This event coming up is our first event, hopefully of many, and we're holding it in a fabulous gallery. We have done events under a different umbrella and under a different organization before, but unfortunately that is not taking place anymore, which is why a month ago or 2 months ago we have decided to get together and organize ourselves, because we know many other designers who have actually called us and said, hey, why don't we get together and do something? Like we need to do something together. It's the right time. It's the right moment. And Harlem, out of all places in New York City, has a community and feels like a home and feels like different to other parts of New York, where you basically live and work in anonymity. Work kind of anonymous and have no contact to your neighbors and to your fellow artists. But I think Harlem offers a really wonderful community to share and to get together and basically present yourself together. We are not accepting everybody. It has to be a curated special product with a message, and we also like to have a variety, not just clothing, not just hats, but we have also included artisan food vendors and accessory designers, and also artists who show artifacts, which are Harlem-based or historic Harlem-based.
Gotcha. All right. Very nice. All right. It sounds very exciting, and as an artist, I love these conversations. I love all the other conversations that I have too, but I specifically love these kind of conversations, being an artist myself and being able to talk to fellow artists about what they do, how they do it, the process, and, of course, the thing that we all love, and that is the art. Can you tell me something a little bit more, too, about it's the Harlem Makers Collective. Makers, can you put some a little more definitive about what you mean by makers? Is it only handmade? Is it handmade art, or can it be anything that's handmade? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, what you will find is that the artists who are showing there are not producing things in China, are not producing goods in outside of the U.S. They're producing within the city. Some of them are producing in Harlem, and like myself, I have my studio here in the Garment District, and I produce everything here in New York City. Some of the artists make all their goods themselves because it's small, limited editions.
Right.
Obviously, with clothing, it's like my line is a clothing line. It's a little bit more elaborate, and you have to, use factories to get it done. And if I had a factory in Harlem, I would get it done in Harlem. It happens to be that I have factories here in Midtown, so I get it done in Midtown. But everything is under a very curated control, very special. You will not find it in, mass market department stores. It's a curated, researched product, and everybody who participates puts all the love they have into the product.
That's fantastic, and it's the kind of thing, as I said, that we love, and I think it's reminiscent of Harlem's history also. And just for our listeners who are probably sitting on the edge of their chairs, the event's going to be at Gallery 8 in Harlem, and it starts on the 7th of December, if my memory serves me correct, and will go until December 9th at Gallery 8. And I'm sorry, go ahead, Heike.
Yeah, Gallery 8 is actually, it's very interesting because it's kind of a meant-to-be situation, because I was invited by, I live in Strivers Gardens, and I was invited by one of my friends who lives there to attend an event at the gallery, and I walked into the space and I was so thrilled about it and about the atmosphere, the art I saw, the whole setup, and I thought, my God, this would be fabulous to do I hate to use that word, but I'm going to use it right now, like a pop-up in this space. And Karema did the same thing. She just independently from me walked in there and saw the space, thought exactly the same. And when we met, we both brought the same gallery to the table, and we were like, this is unbelievable. We both saw the space and fell in love, and it's meant to be. So that's how that came about.
And I see what you're saying by meant to be, because to me, when that happens, it typically turns out to be a great event because of the synergy, and we're, thinking along the same lines. So it is quite exciting. And what I didn't see, I'm going to ask you another question, because we're almost, believe it or not, Heike, we're almost at the midpoint point. And matter of fact, we are there, and we're just going to let our listeners know that they're listening to the Danny Tisdale Show, and I'm Danny Tisdale, and this is part of Harlem World Radio, and we're speaking to Heike Jarick about the Harlem Makers Collective Artisan Christmas Sale. That's on December 7th, December 9th at Gallery 8. And Heike, what street is? What is the address for the gallery?
The Gallery 8 space is at the corner of the historic Strivers Row at 139th Street and Frederick Douglass Boulevard. Again, it's a perfect space, and we are very, very grateful to Gallery 8 for opening their doors to us.
That's
and
fantastic.
For making this event happen with us.
Well, and that is fantastic, and I love again when everyone comes together to work towards that goal, and bring their wares to the Harlem community and the outer Harlem community. And I'm just going to go through a few things because some listeners out there may be saying, you know what, I'm not really interested in this, I'm not really interested in that, but there will be jewelry. There'll be a milliner there who specializes in, I think, what Ms. Jarick said, incredible hats, chocolate. There'll be a New York chef there, and Peppered Moon. Is that?
Yes.
She'll be bringing
Correct.
some of her food. Okay. Some ceramics, home decor, lighting, accessories, and hardware. It just sounds fantastic. And there's going to be Oak and Corn, who's going to bring some denim wear. You'll end up having a little bit of everything to choose from. Listeners out there, no matter where you may be, you're in town to enjoy Harlem and enjoy the experience. This sounds like an event that you don't want to miss. And Heike, I wanted to come back to you because it gives us an opportunity to talk about another one of my favorite subjects, and that's a little bit more about art. And when I read your description, you focus on the Bauhaus theory of design. Can you tell us a little bit about that? I mentioned crafts and fine art. Can you tell us a little bit about your process?
Yes, I can. I do want to mention, though, one other very important person who will be attending who will be exhibiting, and it's the John Reddick collection. And John Reddick is a historian, and he has collected amazing pieces of books and posters and very one-of-a-kind items of Harlem history, and it's going from the 1920s to up to date, and it's all about Black history. And it's a wonderful collection. You're going to find items which you're not going to see anywhere else. So that's what I want to mention to you, too, in terms of art. And we have also Olomatic, who has basically taken items, historic items, and he gives them a twist. He paints on them. He kind of like distorts them in a very fun and unique way. So that's what I also want to mention in terms of our artists. And as far as Bauhaus is concerned, I mean, me being German, I grew up in Germany, and I was always tripping to Berlin, and I basically visited the Bauhaus galleries there and studied a lot about Bauhaus history, and actually went to a college in England that was based on Bauhaus principles. So it kind of has accompanied my personal career all my life, and it's a very modern art movement that kind of came in the beginning of the century, came about in Germany in the beginning of the century, bringing together also artists from Russia and from other parts of Europe into this movement that combined art, design, and also objects like cups and plates and
utilitarian objects, right?
Exactly, and furniture, and basically it's all one thing. It's not just the clothes, it's not just the art. It's a movement that encompasses every aspect of design.
That's fantastic, and being a art lover and an artist, I had to just ask some of those questions that dealt a little deeper into the arts. And I wanted to ask you also, first of all, how long have you been living in Harlem?
I moved to Harlem in 2012.
Okay. Fantastic.
And I absolutely think it's fantastic, Harlem.
And of course, I might be a little biased, completely agree with you. But, we have listeners, Heike, who are parents, and they, either they work in the arts themselves, or they may have a son or daughter who, wants to be an artist. Can you give any kind of tips or inspiration for them in wanting to follow their dream to be an artist, and especially an artist maybe that's located in Harlem?
Oh, I think we have some great places in Harlem to experience art and to experience especially, African American Black art, and this is the Studio Museum. It's a wonderful place. I absolutely love it, and there's also the Schomburg Center, which you can visit.
135th Street, right?
Yes. So that alone is inspiration to the max, I would say. And I have recently visited at the MoMA an absolute incredible exhibit of Charles White, which I can highly recommend.
Beautiful drawings, right? Yeah.
He is so talented and so deep. I mean, it's really unbelievable. I was highly impressed by this exhibit, and I think every time I go back there, I will see new things in his drawings and paintings.
Certainly so.
And so I think I would recommend those three aspects to an aspiring artist.
Certainly so. And were you always interested in the arts, or was it something that developed over time? You went to school, or was art always a part of your life and your experience?
Actually, I started as being interested in art before I became interested in fashion. I basically did drawings and paintings from a very early age on, and some of my teachers recognized that I do have a talent, and some others were absolutely not interested in, when someone is an artist, they want you to be good at math and good at Latin, which I studied, and but my tendency was always to be an artist and to express my thoughts and my feelings through art. And again, because I was fascinated by Bauhaus, I kind of translated that into another aspect, which was clothing. So started making clothes and feeling clothes, and then, pursuing my career as a designer.
Well, I always love the journey, and it's great to hear that you started in Germany and you are here with us here in Harlem, and even more so that we and the listeners and others have an opportunity to, really experience all the art from the collective at the Harlem Makers Collective Artisan Christmas Sale on December 7th through the 9th. And Heike, just one last thing. Can you give us, so that our listeners can stay in contact either before or after the event with the collective? Do you have a website or social links that our listeners can connect with you on?
Sure. We are actually, because we're relatively new, we don't have a website yet, but this is definitely something we are working on. And but we do have an Instagram page, which is at Harlem Makers Collective. and you will see all the artists featured, and some of us have also collaborated in photo shoots and put our products together, styled them all together. So again, it's Instagram page at Harlem Makers Collective, all in one word. And then obviously you can contact us by email. It's harlem.makerscollective@gmail.com. And we will be, featuring on our Instagram page all the details. We have also a cocktail hour on the 7th and the 8th from 5 till 9 o'clock. We will be serving Harlem-made drinks and Harlem-sponsored drinks.
I love it.
And we also have a DJ who has put together a special mix for this event, which we will be playing. And I think there will be lots of also Harlem celebrities hopefully coming, which we are in contact with, and some, makers and shakers of Harlem. Mm-hmm. So I think it will be...
Should be a great event.
Yeah, it will be more than a shopping event, also a real good mingle and getting together of the community.
It sounds like a fantastic event, Heike, and I'm so glad to, have you on the show. And I do have my favorite question I love to ask guests on the show. And what is your favorite, if you have one favorite place in Harlem, what is your favorite place in Harlem?
My absolute... Oh, that's so difficult to point it to one thing.
I know. It's always a tough question.
Personally, I love Strivers Row.
It is beautiful.
Yeah, and
historic.
Yeah, I mean, number 2, I love Edgecombe Road. I think it's really beautiful, and I love going up Sugar Hill. Sugar Hill is like also a very fabulous area, and there are some really great restaurants up there on Amsterdam. And I love the Grange. It's super great food, and there's a lot of little secrets to be discovered in Harlem. It's a place of great secrets.
And that is well said, Heike Jarick. And I just want to remind our listeners to check out the Harlem Makers Collective Artisan Christmas sale, and that's December 7th through the 9th, and that's at Gallery 8. We're going to post the links on the site when we post this, and you're looking at it on Tuesday, listeners out there, and clicking on it. Check it out. Be a part of it. Support Harlem as you always do, and support the great work of great artists like the Harlem Makers Collective. And Heike Jarick, thank you for being on the show, and we're going to put our full force to pack those rooms with folks buying and celebrating art and some of those Harlem drinks also. Thank you, Heike, for being on the show.
Thank you, Danny. I really appreciate it, and have a wonderful weekend.
And the best of the holidays to you, and have a great weekend yourself. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, folks, there you are. It sounds like a fabulous event that, you might want to check out and, support the arts as you always do and as we always try to do in the community, and be a part of another great experience. It should be fantastic, and, of course, we're looking forward to it. So see you there, and let's have a toast to the event. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like us and share us on your social. Bye-bye.
Ebenezer Scrooge, awake! I am the ghost of the Mercedes-Benz winter event. Your time is running out. Come, I must show you the sleek CLA. Nice, said Scrooge, but I am kind of a Scrooge. No worries, the CLA offers true Mercedes performance at a surprising price. Or check out the GLC, an SUV with the full complement of technology and performance. Give your year the happy ending it deserves at the Mercedes-Benz Winter Event, now at your Mercedes-Benz dealer. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. Ebenezer Scrooge, awake! I am the ghost of the Mercedes-Benz Winter Event. Your time is running out. Come, I must show you the sleek CLA. Nice, said Scrooge, but I am kind of a Scrooge. No worries, the CLA offers true Mercedes performance at a surprising price. Or check out the GLC, an SUV with the full complement of technology and performance. Give your year the happy ending it deserves at the Mercedes-Benz Winter Event, now at your Mercedes-Benz dealer. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.